Let's talk about displaying text. Something so simple has so many different components. Starting with font. Pick one and stick with it. Set one type for the deck and use it everywhere. And I mean everywhere, including inside your footnotes, charts, graphs, icons, and tables. Again, try and look at the company standard to see if there is a preference. Quick word of warning on this. This gets a lot of people in trouble. Some companies have purchased their own fonts. This can be super annoying if you don't have it downloaded on your machine or the machine you're going to use to present. Stick to something that is universal across organizations and platforms. If you're going to pick your own font, generally a sans serif is the way to go, as they're simpler to manage. You can use variation of all caps, small caps, and sentence case as another means to show variation within the deck. But you want to use the differences consistently. Let's see what it's going to look like. All right, we've got a slide here that utilizes different font styles to represent different things. So you can see the headings on each one of these categories is in all caps, but the overall text is in sentence case. This is just an extract from one of the templates that we have available you can download. All right, you'll notice at the top of this page, hopefully, that there's an error. There's a spelling mistake. Font in all caps spelling. It has an extra L in it. Notice that it doesn't have the little squiggly line below it that tells you in most Microsoft applications that you've done something wrong, that you have misspelled an item. The reason it didn't do it is I created this text by holding down the Shift key. All caps spelling with 3 L's. No red line. That's bad. The way you want to use all caps is you type in either sentence case or lowercase, and then you adjust it to all caps. Watch this. So I'm going to make it all caps, and then I'm going to start from the beginning. And I'm just going to type sentence case. I'm not going to hold down Shift. Look what happens. I've got the red squiggly line that told me, uh-oh, I messed up. So my advice is when you are making out your text, do it all in sentence case or lowercase, and then go back through and select either small caps, all caps, whatever it is you want to do to format it. That is going to keep you from making spelling mistakes. Pro tip, do the same thing on your resume. I've seen plenty of resumes where people typed words for headings in all caps and they had spelling errors. Another pro tip, when testing out fonts, be sure to look at both the letters and the numbers. Sometimes numbers can appear a bit funny and make it tougher for alignment for use in icons or tables and charts. Font size is a healthy source of debate. Some people will swear it should be no less than 24, while others will drop it to 14 or even 12. This is a huge "it depends" answer. Is it a standalone deck that'll be printed or read on a personal monitor? If so, you can probably go smaller. If it's going to be displayed to a public audience with a projector in a large room, you're going to need to go bigger. If it is presented publicly, how large is the room and how big is the presentation screen? I found myself on plenty of occasions in which the throw of the projector was way smaller than it needed to be, and even an 18-point font was challenging to read. What's the organization's standard? Banks and consulting firms are just 2 examples in which it's very, very common to find dense slides going down to 10-point font with charts and graphs multiply displayed on a single page. Try to keep that font size as consistent as possible, particularly with the elements on the same slide. Large font implies more importance, so you may be sending a message that you don't intend to if you make a certain category heading larger than others. Consistency is also the name of the game with text formatting such as italics, bolding, or underlining. We want to keep the usage of these elements consistent within the slide and throughout the entire deck. Legibility and simplicity is far more important than just varying the formatting to try and make a slide look more interesting. Oh, finally, friends don't let friends use Comic Sans. If you're using bulleted text, which we tend to do in a lot of presentations, pick a style of bullet and stick with it. Basic dots or dashes are fine. You shouldn't feel the need to change symbols drastically for your sub-bullets. If you find yourself at the point, though, where you need 3 or more layers of bullets, you probably have way too much text on the slide. Make sure your indentation is also consistent. Let's see where this can get us into trouble. So here on the page, we have somebody who has created multiple objects. This happens a lot sometimes when you copy and paste in text from different sources, and it's created challenges with indentation. So you can just look at this page right now and see that my header is indented differently than my sub-bullets. The distance between the bullet and the text is off as well. I've got all the information on here, but it's not clean and consistent. So we want to be able to go back through, make sure that our indentation is all nice and pretty across the board and doesn't cause us problems. There we go. Everything is left justified, the distance between my bullets is consistent, and the world is at peace. Let's talk text alignment. Alignment of text can be very subjective. I usually recommend consistency when it comes to right, left, or center justification, but you can easily find yourself in situations with visuals in which it makes more sense to switch it for the best fit. Let's go through an example. So you can see right now on this page that we've got a graphic where we have a left side and a right side of text that's feeding off each end. So over here on the left, you can see that the text is left justified, where on the right side, our subtext is right justified. It just looks clean. We get in the pattern of having the text aligned with that big bullet that is at the end of the dashed line. That's something that makes a lot of sense for this particular page. Anytime you're using bullets or numbering, as in a list, left justification is typically preferable. If you're showing numbers aligned to show calculations, though, you want to make sure each individual line is perfectly lined up. This can drive you nuts and become a huge time suck. A lot of people will try to use spaces to line them up. The easiest approaches are to either use the decimal indent in your text boxes, a table, or just use separate text boxes. Consistency also holds for punctuation. Periods in bulleted lists are basically an all or nothing issue. If you put a period on one bullet, put them on all, or take away the one. If you use dashes or hyphens, make sure they're the same. Let's go through some examples. All right, here we are on a very text-heavy slide. So we've got our indentation right, our bullets are right, it's lined up well, but we've got a punctuation problem. So you can see that some of my bullets have periods, but not all of them. So I had a couple that crept through without that. It stands out on the page. Take a look here at the differences in my hyphens and dashes. So you can see I've got the short one here, but I've got the long one down here. It's a small point, but people notice. So either use all short or all small. Easy way to do it. If you want to use all small, go grab the small one, throw it there on top of the big one, and you're good to go. Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. I'll let you guys process it a little bit, and I'll see you in the next video.